Welcome everyone to Loud and Proud Orlando. We are live. It's Monday, May the 12th, 6:36 p.m. Thank you so much for your support. I'm Luis Carlos Pineda. I'll be your host today. I'm here with John and Paola. We're going to be talking about, a couple of topics. Certainly the 3-3 tie. Another tie bites the dust from Orlando City against the Rebs. We're going to also preview Charlotte FC at home with the lineup and the score predictions. Stay tuned. Drop us a thumbs up. If you're listening, thank you for your support. We're available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and on all social media platforms. So make sure you check us out. Orlando, I'm going to say it. Orlando definitely returned to Inter&Co Stadium, returned to MLS League play after a amazing, resounding victory in the U.S. Open Cup against the Rowdies. They faced one of the hottest defenses in the MLS for sure in the Eastern Conference, as the New England Revolution came in to Orlando after winning the last four. So they were in a really high momentum. We were in a high momentum offensively against the Rowdies. And definitely it was a battle of the defenses. And I think both defenses for both teams did not deliver as much due to the result. It was a disappointing 3-3 draw around, I'll say about 19,000 people. And, most of the people that went to see the Rowdies obviously went to see the game against New England. It was wrestling night. So it was really cool to see all the wrestling gear, all the wrestling shirts. I do want to say something. $50 for a t-shirt. I mean, look, I love Stone Cold Steve Austin, but man, I would not pay $50 or $44 for a scarf. But I don't know how people do it. Kudos to you if you are that person. But either way, I'm here with John. I'm here with Paola. That's back. John, how are you, my friend?
You're Great, muted. Man. Sorry, I was not prepared. I'm good. It was, like he said, a 3-3 draw. I feel like we've had two kind of disappointing draws that felt like they should have been wins in a row in MLS, Chicago, and now this one, obviously very different, 1-0 and 1-3-3. But regardless, I do feel like we've left 4 points on the table in the last couple of games. So that is disappointing. But it was an exciting game nonetheless. I do want to say that.
Yeah, for sure. Paola, how are you? Good to see you again.
Doing good after almost a month. I think a month. Sorry about that, but when work calls, we need to work. So, but I'm happy to be back and finally a hat trick that I know that we're gonna talk about that. And I missed the hat trick in person. I wasn't in the stadium, but I was in spirit and heart watching the game via my phone. So I'm happy to be here.
For sure. Salty H2O says, hey guys, I was at this game and it was rough watching Pasalic and Muriel, but especially our number 9. All right. Thank you, Mr. Salty H2O. To everybody that's on X, if you can retweet or share the video. If you are on YouTube, drop us your thumbs up and drop us a comment and we'll read you. So thank you for your support. So obviously, today was, I think, the very high level. Today, the game against New England specifically, Martin Ojeda delivered a phenomenal performance. I mean, you're talking about a hat trick. Is the first Orlando City player that scores a hat trick since Kyle Aaron in 2015. John, you probably remember that. Despite Orlando really scoring 3 goals in the first half, defensive turnovers or mental lapses made Orlando, kind of succumb into, just trying to play defensively, but really turning over the ball. And, as we mentioned in the preview, they threw away the victory. Campana was all over. A lot of their wingers also raised their game tremendously. Now, also, there was a penalty by Carlos Hill in the 85th minute. Honestly, I love the first half for Orlando because they took control of the game. They took New England. New England didn't know what hit them in the first 30 minutes of play. We need to see that throughout 90 minutes. I think if they're able to drag that for 90 minutes, Orlando has a huge chance. Now, mind you, there was opportunities for Orlando to be up 5-0 at the half. They missed two key goals. Pasalic, one who threw it to the moon. He after a beautiful pass from Muriel, and there was another chance also that they didn't capitalize. So there was a lot of that, and then 3 goals. For starts, John, what are some of your, coming into the game? I know that we had a low scoring expectation, especially with all the predictions that we did, and it didn't happen that way. What are your initial thoughts coming up to the Revolution game?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely thought it was going to be low scoring. The Revs, they actually came into this game off the back of a 5-game win streak. 4 of those were in MLS play, so they were pretty hot. As much as we consider New England like, oh, it's the Revs haven't been good in recent years, they have right now in this moment coming into this game, they were on a pretty hot streak, and they hadn't conceded more than 2 goals a game. So we're the first team to put 3 on them. And then obviously, as we know on our side, we were looking pretty good defensively. Hadn't conceded in 5-6 games. I mean, 5 games in MLS play, 6 games overall. So no one expected 3-3. And that was kind of a shock. When we went 2-0 up, I was like, sweet. Let's just see this out. Like, great. I'm quite happy for us to be, do a nice, still attack, of course, but be solid. If we're not going to concede, we've got 2, maybe we'll get a 3rd. I did not see us conceding 3 in this game. But I think really after they got a couple of goals, the game was more open. It was back and forth. The second half was like, which way is it going to go? At one point, it looked like we won it. At one point, it looked like, they were going to win it. It just kind of was one of those games that was back and forth and way more open than I would have expected. But yeah, it was not the 0-0 or 1-0 that we were all thinking it was going to be.
Yeah, for sure. When it comes to the man of the hour, and I did see a lot of MLS know-it-alls and pundits. People are saying Pareja needs to start putting Martin Ojeda in the starting lineup all the time. Now, I totally understand that, when people that are famous say something, a lot of people listen. They control the narrative, and that's okay. But also, you have to understand that Martin Ojeda, it is a valuable asset, very valuable asset for the Orlando City. But also, he's human. He's not a T2. He's definitely not a T1 Terminator. He's not an android. He's not Android 18, Android 17. He is a human being, and there's muscle fatigue, and there's a reason why he was rotated a bunch of times or put on the bench. It's not because Oscar, neither his teammates feel that he's not good enough. He's put on there because the MLS is a long season, and they want Ojeda to be part of the whole entire thing. They don't want him to miss any time, so that's why when there's gaps of opportunities in which Orlando has the opportunity to trust into a Caraballo, into a, Ramiro Enrique, or play with a 4-4-2 with 2 strikers, Pareja now feels confident, whether the fans feel it or not. He feels confident to line that up. Now, talking about Martin Ojeda, Paola, what are your thoughts on his performance, and were you expecting a hat trick out of the Argentinian?
I mean, no. I've been asking for this hat trick for the longest time. I think John texted me, finally a hat trick. And I was like, yes. And I was with John. Like when we were up 2-0, I was like, I'm not going to jinx it. Let's see if we can hold 2-0. But then I jinxed it. But talking about Martin Ojeda, I mean, we have been talking about his performance and the capability of him scoring goals since he came to Orlando City, and this is the product that we bought in 2023, 2024. I don't remember, 2022. I don't remember when Martin was already here, but this is what Ojeda can do, and he's lethal. Like, hopefully now with this hat trick, it keeps contributing to his mentality and confidence so we can see more of his either assist that I know that he has a bunch of numbers of assists for the team because he's the number 10, and obviously more goals. So I'm happy for him. I'm happy for the team. Well deserved. Since 2015 we haven't seen this. I think fans, we want to see more of this. So I mean, and kudos. Like physically, I don't know if you have noticed, Luis or John, but physically, Ojeda is a little bit faster too. I don't know if Basan is doing his thing with the exercises and the training, but I feel that Ojeda is gonna be improving more and showing us what he's capable in the field.
Yeah, for sure. Talking about Martin Ojeda, John, when it comes to his goals, um, I did put a video on my X account. So if everybody's interested, there's a comparison of a goal that he did in Argentina. This is a year before he came to Orlando, and it was in a derby, Godoy Cruz versus Rosario, and he scored. It's literally was almost the same pass. It was like the Gervais pass, going through the middle, and then him getting on the run. But the difference I did spot it, which is Paula brought it up, is that back in Argentina he got tired right after that run. He just fell he celebrated and lifted his arms, and then he just passed out on the on the grass, because he had to catch his breath. But now I see a Martin Ojeda that is able to do these runs fairly easy and with a lot of confidence. Now he did mention that his family is his motivation, and and his wife and his kids, and making Orlando home was a priority. So John, what do you feel about this? I think we've all been through the moment, but you've been also through the beginning since he first came in. I remember we had a conversation in one of the pods saying, hey, maybe you should trade him, and then now look, he's like our best player. What are your thoughts on his evolution?
I mean, I think it was the conversation we had before about trading him was because Oscar wasn't playing him, and then he was just out of form, and so it was like, why do we have a DP who's on the bench who doesn't come in? And then there was moments in his first season of whoa, oh, look at this guy, maybe he can be something, and then really as the time's gone on, it's just taken that time for Oscar to trust him, and now he's I think his number one. And I also really think something that we've all forgotten but is crucial, and something that we said at the beginning of the year, is that really he was always signed to be the Facu replacement, right? So I think you're seeing Martin Ojeda be the guy because partly we've taken Facu out of it. Like, how often did we see Martin and Facu running into each other, occupying those same spaces? Pasalic just come in, and I feel is a much better relationship there already with Martin and Pasalic and Muriel. I think, all those other pieces around him are clicking in the right way, and that allows him to be that number 10 creator. But more than that, he's also such a goal threat. I mean, he's what you think from a modern number 10, right? He runs the game, he can pass, but also, if you give him enough space, like on that first goal, he's going to hit one and he's going to put it in the back of the net as well. And right now he is everything, Luis. I mean, I was on Gold's TV last week talking about with Jose and all those guys, and we were talking about MVP candidates like a quarter of the season in. Who's your early MVP shouts? And everyone's talking about Brian White and Ty Baribo and Evander, and those guys have got 8 goals,
Well,
right?
Evander
Those
makes
guys have
sense.
got 8 goals on the season, all of them. And now Martin Ojeda is right behind them with 7 goals. So if he carries on like this, not only are we going to be, he's definitely going to be our MVP at this rate, but he's looking like he could be, candidate for MVP in the league. We said that earlier in the year. Obviously, his scoring fell off, but so did everybody's. But I feel like when we're hot, Martin is hot, and he's, really looking like one of the best like 10s in the league at times, especially in this game. I mean, I think he should be star of the week. I know he's in the 11 of the week for MLS, but I mean, a hat trick, some incredible goals. What else does he have to do, Luis, to win this match week from MLS?
No, I agree with you there, 100%. That whole all those 3 goals were pretty impressive. He's going back to, it's kind of, I see it as great progression for him as a player. He started at Godoy Cruz in a very small club in Argentina. Started on the bench, being a replacement, coming in second halves. Became a starter, and then scored 13 goals in one season. He had a monster season, just like you're seeing it today with Orlando City. Obviously, the level of physicality and also the height difference between Argentina and MLS is quite striking. So I will believe that, it is a little bit harder to get goals here than it is in Argentina when it comes especially to smaller clubs. And he was targeted, and the surprising part was he was targeted by Boca, by River, by all these really massive clubs from Brazil. And he's like, scratch that, I'm going to the MLS. I'm going to Orlando City. And I know for a fact he had offers because there was one Peruvian club that wanted him. That's how I know. And he was very, it was him and the kid that it's no longer in Orlando. I forgot his name. The guy who used to play in Union de Santa Fe. But either way, Gaston Gonzalez. Yeah, him and Gaston Gonzalez were like this, good players that are not really famous or youth level famous. That were not in the Argentina national team that exploded in the Argentinian league. So they had a good assist number, good XG, goal count, all of that. And they both went to Orlando City. And so the funny part was, now you see him, we saw him coming, as a sub to then, becoming part of the team. And now we be coming to see. And, this is one thing I did mention to Oscar is like Oscar said, he's become a leader, like a leader in the locker room. He's a player that, to all those young guys, he's kind of showing them the ropes and how the system is and how the system works with Oscar. And not a lot of people are talking about it. And he mentioned Caraballo, for example, in the post-press conference. He mentioned Caraballo, how he's a humble kid that comes from humble beginnings, and he's helping him in transition. Talked about Freeman, and he said, those kids makes us better, and they make me better as a player. So it's great to see that, we have such a positive turnaround for Ojeda, and he's our MVP for sure in Orlando. Now, one bad piece of news, and I'll go with Paola here. In the 38th minute, New England scored. Al Hassan Yusuf scored his MLS goal. It cut the deficit of the counter for 2-1. It came after a really bad error by the Orlando backline, with David Brecalo not sliding in the right time. It cut the streak that we had, the defensive streak that we had going on. To go more into the defense, what do you think about New England's goal? How do you take it? And you know, what are your assessments defensively for the team,
I
Paula?
mean, I'm shocked that didn't see a lot of. I don't know if my algorithm and X is not like before, but I didn't see. Before it was gonna say, "Oh, Pedro, bench Pedro. All of this is Pedro," right? I think honestly that our center backs they were off on this game. I mean, all of the three goals except the penalty, right? And Galese almost had it, the penalty by Carles Hill. He missed by an inch, but I think is this the one that Schlegel wasn't like? I don't remember the 38-minute goal, but I know that Schlegel was like caught off in sleeping in the other way, and then boom, they scored on us. So I think the center backs were sleeping. I don't know what was in their mind, but classic center back when we got score, they're or either not, um defending man to man, or they're in another place in another planet not defending their man. So I think it's in the center backs, it's not in Galese for sure.
What about you, John? What do you think about the defensive woes of this game?
Yeah, I mean, the first one not great for sure. The second one equally not as good. Yeah, I mean, we of course we didn't concede for however many games. It's gonna happen, right? Then it just
616
sort of like the
minutes.
floodgates opened, and it just was like, okay, so that's gone out the window. But I also think that it just was one of those games where the Revs, they knew what to do against us, and they played a good game as well, and they managed to impose their game at times, and their game is set pieces and counterattacking soccer. The last one really frustrated me because I think there's really nothing in that, and I don't
Yeah, there
I
was
don't
not a
like to
penalty.
blame the ref. I feel like every week I'm on here complaining about the ref, but I just like to point out that a lot of these calls are just questionable. Like at times, that one especially, it seemed very strange to me that the guy had to wait to be told to go look at VAR for our penalty. That was the most clear and obvious thing, where Gervais got kicked in the face, and then their penalty. I'm sorry, and they had to go look at it. Then he has to give it, and he goes, "Okay, I'll give you the penalty." And on their penalty, there is no VAR. It's a very weak challenge, in my opinion, from Jansen behind. He basically just bumps into the guy as they're running. And also Ganago, I think it was. He's running away from goal. He's not really threatening goal. There's nothing in it, in my opinion. So I think for the ref to just give that one straight away on the field and not even be like, hey, let's review this. Let's have a little bit of like, what's the word? I don't know, intelligence, or just like have a little bit of logicality to the play. Like you can't just give it because it looks like a penalty. Sometimes, guys are going to dive. Let's have a look at it on the monitor. So to not do that, I think is frustrating. But also we get ourselves in that position, right? I'm not going to say we lost this game because of the ref. I think we lost this game because we were just making silly defensive errors and not marking our players. Honestly, a lot of the time it was poor marking. And that allowed them into the game. And I really felt for Ojeda, man. I feel like the guy got the hat trick, and I posted it's like the most Orlando City thing ever.
Yeah.
That we finally get a hat trick in 10 years and we still don't win the game. Like, so I think everybody just left like, what the F? Great, enjoyable match, but why don't we have the 3 points? And that happens to be partly down to the ref and partly down to poor defensive decisions by us, especially on that second one, the set piece goals. No one jumped.
Let's read some comments real quick, and then I'll go with why we tied and why we didn't win. Salty H2O, the ref definitely belongs in OBT. I totally agree with that, 100%. Stream Jesus, wish we could have buy Carlos Hill. He shakes up defenders like nothing. Yeah, for sure. I think we could have poached a couple. I don't know. Campana and Carlos Hill will fit perfectly in Orlando City. I mean, once if I'm Orlando City, and I know Ricardo Moreira just gave an interview too, and there's like this whole process. But Campana in purple will look pretty great. It just sucks to work so hard for our goals to only give them away so easily, says Salty H2O. Landing, we all know who the league will give MVP. I totally agree with you on that. Yeah. And probably, you know, God bless Vancouver, I do want to say. Le Vancouver. I don't know if I said that in French correctly. He said that he was resting him. I understand. That's a salty H2O. Stream Jesus, let's go boys. Let's be Charlotte and then smoke what? Nashville. It ain't nothing to do. Ain't nothing to a hungry lion. There you go. There you go. Smoke what, man? Why do you want to smoke? Hopefully a piece of meat. Hi, Paul. That's a stream. Jesus Passage made a field goal. Laugh out loud. There you go. You're completely right on that. Thank you guys for your comments. Look, 23 shots, only 8 on target for Orlando City. Just utterly, and again, the wasteful rants continue for the Lions. Despite Ojeda's hat trick, a lot of players failed to convert the chances that could have killed the game, and I think we tied this game, and it felt kind of like a loss because we didn't kill the game. There were parts in which okay, the streak is over, but Orlando had the momentum. There was only one team on the field attacking wise, and it was Orlando City. Orlando had to kill the game. The inability to close out the game. That's what I wrote right here. So Orlando was leading 2-0. They had a chance to be 4-0 or 3-0. Then Orlando went 3-2, and then Orlando failed to kill the game. It's just simple as that. And then you see New England as time was going by. New England is not a bad team. It's certainly not the Rowdies, John and Paola. Certainly not the Rowdies. They are a resilient team. They have been able to find and people like the set pieces like Matt Polster, for example. Who would have thought, like, Matt, out of all people, Matt Polster scores on you, bro? You know what I mean? That to me, Matt Polster, but either way, great. At least we didn't lose. And I know that sounds like people are gonna say, oh, how mediocre are you, Louis? Mediocre. But hey, I take the point at this point, right?
Yeah, I mean, that like we haven't lost in
we only have two. We have only 2 losses in this season.
Yeah, literally, like, so. I think there's some people that are already like very depressed about the situation. I don't understand why people get so upset when a draw happens. Like, look, this is soccer. You're gonna have some draws. It's gonna happen. Okay. What's up?
I have it. I have exactly what you're saying. People.
Yeah, I just noticed this is like negativity. I mean, we haven't lost since we lost in New York City 2-1.
Yeah.
And when was that?
On February 8th. Sorry, March 8th. March 8th.
Look at that.
We haven't lost since March 8th. It's now, that's 2 months with no losses. Yes, there's been a lot of draws in there. Yes, there's been a lot of 0-0s in there. But I don't understand the level of negativity. I think is not equal to our standing. Also, I gotta say that anybody who is underestimating how difficult the East is right now, go look at the table and look at the teams above us and around us. Like, it is an absolute dogfight this year in the East. So every point matters. Yes.
Do you have the table?
Yeah, I can show you. Yes, we're only getting draws, but last year we've been getting losses, and these draws might turn into wins soon. So I don't see a reason to be that negative. Look, I mean, one win with 3 points
will take us
Right,
4.
exactly.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of factors at play, but I mean, we're 7 points off the top of the table. It's so
I
tight, and
want
there's
to
so many teams week to week. We go win 2 or 3 in a row, we'll be up in second or third, no problem. So it's just got to be. May is rough though, for sure.
I want to just say in conjunction to what John and Paula were talking about this, the points that divide number 8th or 9th with number 4, it's literally minimal.
It's 1 or 2 points. 1 or 2 points.
Now there's people, and I think, like John would say in a British accent, I think these guys are taking the piss. I want to believe they're taking the piss, because there's a guy here. Give a shout out to Mike Hilton on Facebook. Says as follows: okay, we got 2 losses, but we are in the 8th place. We need a winning coach. And then, obviously, I think he's doing it just to, but people are like, they're responding. They have like 100 comments on there, but guys, it's still a long way to go. I think we're in a good path. It's just we should not drop 2 points like that. And I don't know if you agree, Paula. Do you think it might have been maybe, I don't know, muscle fatigue, or maybe because they just play against the Rowdies? Because it's going to get tougher. This month of May is terrible for the Lions.
I mean, I don't know if it was muscle fatigue. I don't know if they were cocky, that they just, we were in a winning streak. I don't know. But I mean, it serves as a wake up call for our defense, right? For our center backs. And I mean, our right backs and left back, they play phenomenal. Like Freeman and Brecalo, like they play well. It was just, a little pieces that it cost us 3 freaking goals. So I don't know. It's difficult. It's difficult to say what we can. We just need to get better at those little details, and we can be in the top of the table, to be honest. Because right now I'm looking, even Cincinnati, they have lost more than us 3 games, right? But we have 6 draws, even though they're not losses, right? I mean, we're not that far as people think. I think we were probably worse last year, and we were like heading for Pareja's head. We were like, caught him. Well, I'm not saying we, the rest of the fans,
Yep.
some of the fans, we were not, agree on that. But I think we're in a solid place. Standings in the Eastern table, the teams, is difficult. So if we want to be a winning team and we want to win the MLS Cup, we need to secure all 3 points going forward. So
I agree. Rodolfo Chang says, see if John wants to answer him. Oscar just cannot win against a worse team than us. Yeah. If you take Jill out, who else is in New England? Orlando has Ojeda, Muriel, Pasalic, Freeman, Duncan, Ramiro. How we cannot score more? Says Rodolfo Chang, John. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rodolfo.
Well, I'll say this: we definitely do beat teams worse than us. Like we beat Toronto earlier the year. We beat DC. We beat, and I think also, like I said before, a lot of the opinion is that New England are a really bad team, because they have been the past few years, and they are definitely not right now. Like I said, going into this game, they'd won like their last 5 in a row. So it was a more competitive game than we'd like. Of course, you make some defensive errors, but you could say on the other side of the coin, when was the last time you watched Ojeda get a hat trick, right? So the goals in MLS are back. Yes, we conceded 3 as well. We don't want to do that, but that's not going to happen every week. And I think this was just one of those games where we, made enough errors, and the game was so tight that it ended up being 3-3. If Duncan had ducked a little bit more or not been in the way, we would have won this 4-3. And none of this like negativity around would be here, right? So it's such fine margins. So I think also you can get into the habit of just looking at one game at a time. I think that's very dangerous to do. I know, like, you come out of the stadium and people are like very emotional about how you feel. I am the same way. It like takes me a day or so to be like, oh, that like the whole Sunday I was like, I'm still annoyed that we drew that game, right? And I'm sure you all felt that way too. But if you look at the whole situation, we haven't lost since February, right? So I think sometimes you have to take the emotional part and just put it in a little box and say, let's look at the big picture. And also remember that none of this matters, right? Unless we're going to be Supporters Shield candidates, which I've got news for you, I don't think we are this year.
Yeah,
Then none of
no,
this
I don't
matter.
think
We're
we
going
are
to
either.
make playoffs. It doesn't really, as long as we end up near the top 4 come the end of the season so we can challenge to get a top 4 finish, it doesn't actually matter. So I think, one game, yes, it's a draw. Yes, it's frustrating, but big picture, we're doing pretty good and it can definitely improve and hopefully it will improve.
Now, I'm going to read some more comments in just a second, but on the positives, obviously, New England capitalized on Orlando's defensive errors. Polster, Yusuf, and Hill be a penalty, which should have not been a penalty. I do agree with that with John. I think it was not a penalty, in my opinion. But either way, they shifted into a 5-3-2 possession formation. And then obviously Fofana and Ceballos were generating better traction. That kind of, Orlando was pressuring them throughout 90 minutes, but they were able to counter that. They did have some defensive vulnerabilities. They couldn't contain Martin Ojeda, which that is, obviously it is one of the best defenses in the East. And the East is the only side that matters in the MLS, in my opinion, is the most competitive, of the two. Definitely. Also, they have a problem with scoring. 16 shots on goal, only 6 on target. And out of the set pieces that we were talking about in the preview, they had about 6 to 7 corners and nothing happened. So that says that, 70-30, right? 70% Orlando's backline was able to mark pretty well, but within that 30% of errors, New England capitalized and was able to tie the game. Now, to talk about a little bit about what Rodolfo said, I think I agree with your frustration, and but when do the players take responsibility on their performance? Because tactically, the game was set up pretty great. It was a checkers game for Oscar Pareja. I mean, I feel Orlando dominated. I think but also these mistakes came due to players. I mean, the players, and no manager in the world, as you could see, Carlo Ancelotti, for example, got reamed by FC Barcelona, and no one is, Ancelotti is not a magician. I mean, he's not gonna, he's not actually in the pitch to stop, the guys from Barcelona, Pedro or things like that, or Pedri, right? So, same with Oscar. Oscar will set up the formation, set up the opportunities, try to tactically help them to get the ball going, get the goals. But in the end, the ones who score the goals, the ones who physically go and drive the ball down and mark and defend are the players. And they have to also step in. And a lot of them did, even Martin, he said, I score a hat trick. I am happy, but I'm also sad that I didn't make it. That it was a result that, the fans are not happy with. But, we just came from a game that, we midweek and it was a little tough. So, the schedule doesn't get any better for Orlando, though. I don't know if you want to put the schedule there, John, real quick. So we have Charlotte coming up. It is a good segue to go towards the Charlotte analysis. I don't know if you want to go through there.
Yeah, I just want to say, lastly, on what you were talking about there, I think Schlegel and Jansen and Cesar, those three in particular didn't have a great game for me. I think that's where we lost the battles. I think they let Cardassiel, I think, run around too much and have too much control in the game, especially in the second half. I felt like he was able to get on the ball too much. And Jansen, as much as I agree that that last penalty shouldn't have been one, it's just something we see all the time with our team. Like we touch a player enough in the box to let the guy dive and then to give it. We just can't do that. We see it from Schlegel. This time it was from Jansen. So I think they just need to clean it up. I don't think our center backs had the best game. I do think that Breklo and Alex Freeman had a good game. I think they performed well. Obviously, the attack was good overall. And I do kind of think that outside of Ojeda, we really needed, like you said at the beginning of the pod, Luis, Muriel or Pasalic to step up, right? They can't, like Enrique almost got it at that last minute. It was almost a replay of the Columbus Crew game from last year when Enrique won it with a 4-3 winner. That would have been nice, but really, Ojeda can't do it all. We gotta have that quality, and right now, Muriel, Pasalic haven't scored in how long? Like a while. So these guys need to find their form, just like Ojeda did again. And when all three of them are cooking, we're an extremely dangerous team to deal with.
Yeah. I mean, look, Muriel had a couple of great passes.
Yeah, but he missed some sitters.
But he had two opportunities. One in the first half, one in the second half. The one in the second half, it would have been it would have sealed the deal. Orlando would have won that game, and even with their penalty, whatever. I mean, they would have won that game. He just wanted to drive the ball into the net. Like he just wanted that one extra pass. And then also, my left foot is my weapon, Mr. Pasalic, trying to find the left foot. It reminded me of Facu Torres in a way, because he's just trying to, drive the ball to his left foot. But that goal that he missed in the first half was intricate as well. If we would have scored those, again, we're coming to face right now. New England was the most, technically on paper, the most accessible rival. Now we're going to be facing top 4 onwards of the table. The two games coming up, and these are a new rivalry that has brewed since last season, and then a constant rivalry that we have with another team we'll discuss in just a moment. William Diaz Granado says, I believe the frustration comes from the fans seeing the potential of the team, but we're not getting the wins and the fans are expecting. Well, last season we didn't win until June, and then the fans were also not expecting that. But I mean, it's hard being a soccer fan. I just feel like it's
I think
it's
that's
hard,
the
man.
reality. It's like this is
reality.
Soccer fan is
perfect.
pain. It's a lifetime of pain and suffering, and occasionally you might win, and maybe you'll win a trophy, but a lot of the time it's just suffering.
Paola, what is your doing the segue into Charlotte? What are your expectations on to this game coming up, Paola?
It's gonna be a difficult game, like you said, Luis. This is probably one of the top teams. I mean, right now they have lost the last 4 games that they have played. Right, John? I don't know. You had the statistic there, but it's gonna be blood. Let's say it. It's gonna be super physical on Wednesday. It's a midweek game. Plus, we have an important game coming up on Sunday. So I think you just said it, Luis. It's gonna get tougher and tougher from going forward. So on Wednesday, my expectations is the 3 points. I'm gonna say it. I'm always that is always my expectation. You're not gonna see me say I wanna lose a game, right? But I think we deserve the 3 points, and we have to steal them as much as possible, even if it's at home, right? So we need those 3 points. For me, it's important. I don't know if John or Luis, you disagree, but we can win this game on Wednesday. So I'm expecting 3 points, but I'm expecting super physical game. I'm not expecting an easy game for us on Wednesday.
Obviously, we're coming again. We're facing the top part of the Eastern Conference with Charlotte and then Inter Miami after that. On a Sunday game, the Apple TV tries to put it as it's a Sunday football, but it's all right. I don't know. It's weird to see it on a Sunday. I always see it on a Saturday, but um, I do want to say, it gets tougher, but I mean, Orlando needs to play, and they have potentially right now coming into great defensive form. Obviously, last performance wasn't as great. They're coming in a busy schedule. They have some young starlet standouts like Dagordan, like Freeman. They're definitely performing. And we just got to take it easy. I expect Orlando to hopefully get the W against Charlotte. I wouldn't be upset either if it's a draw again. You know what I mean? I honestly wouldn't be, just because Charlotte, has also shown an inability to scoring and is showing has allowed a lot of goals in the past few games. But we'll discuss it just a second. But John, what are your expectations on this game coming up against Charlotte?
I mean, it's going to be tough for sure. I want to get a win, but I think their defense is very strong. They've much improved from last year. We remember when we played them in the playoffs. I got it up here on screen, but I mean, we didn't actually lose in regulation. We lost one game on penalties, and really, it was 2 draws out of that series of 3, and we won that first one at home. So I think we can do it. It's just going to be very tough. I like you said, Luis, it's May is rough, and now we've got top 4 teams, and Charlotte right now are a top 4 team. They just lost to Nashville on the weekend 2-1 away at Nashville, which was a very tight game. So it's not going to be easy at all, I think. And on a Wednesday night, attendance probably not going to be the best. So I think that's, people need to come out hopefully and support the boys because we need them to back the boys in this one. But I do think there's a bit of rivalry and bad blood, Luis, right? Like it's I remember the players in this series getting quite chippy with one another, so I don't think they've forgotten that. And I think also the fan bases, like I remember doing the preseason stuff, and there's a guy, Danny, who does what we do for Charlotte, and I remember him talking about this and how much he hates Orlando City and how annoyed he was that they got knocked out in the playoffs. So I think the Charlotte fans have got some animosity towards us, and I don't think they like us. I think this is going to be a heated one on the field and also on the socials as well. So a rivalry against another Southeast team, right? The Southeastern teams, apart from Atlanta, are looking pretty good this year.
Yeah, for sure. And again, it's only going to get tougher. And you mentioned the Charlotte versus Nashville game. I take it as preparation to the U.S. Open Cup as well, because I mean they're very similar teams, Charlotte and Nashville.
Yeah,
in my opinion, are very similar teams. So it is a good opportunity for the. I mean, the Lions know how tough May was going to be. So that's one of the reasons why the rotation of players, the resting of Ojeda, the Atuesta take the time off, rest. Now I do have breaking news regarding Edward Atuesta. I do want to mention. Can I go ahead and do it?
Go.
Please.
All right. So breaking news, guys. Breaking news. All right. So per sources, and please don't laugh. What I'm about to say. Per sources, you guys saw neck on the player availability report, correct? I have a little more. I dig a little deeper on what happened with that neck. Let me tell you what happened with Edward Atuesta's neck. The last game, Edward Atuesta he was hit in the neck. He was hit in the neck, and he got a pretty big bruise that hit him really near a artery, known artery here, and it was hard for him to turn his neck to the right and to the left, up and down, and he was literally given, per sources, the time to rest because they knew Joran Gerbe, with a great performance, by the way, was ready to come back in. And so they said, okay, we want to put, he wanted to go in, but they said they didn't rush him. They said, look, you cannot flex your neck. It hurts you. Let's wait till next week. And so that's exactly what happened. And that's why the club just put neck on there specifically, because there's this big word, tactical, whatever medical name, but that starts with a T, I believe, that I saw. But it is something to do with his neck. Now, Atuesta, more than likely, hopefully, that's taken care of, and he may have some minutes. So on the next footage that we may have for the practice, if we see Edward Atuesta, more than likely Edward will be ready to, hopefully have minutes against Charlotte.
That would be nice.
But again, understand, Oscar and his crew feel very confident with the rotation. It doesn't matter if it's Miami, doesn't matter if it's Charlotte, doesn't matter. They just want Atuesta to play the whole entire season. They want the important players to play the whole entire season. They know that they're able to take some liberties with certain players to protect them. Now, Nico Rodriguez had a little knock in the Tampa game. And so it's the same situation. He wasn't not even in the list. And that is because he's kind of the knock that he had prior to the Tampa game came back.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, so physically he's not 100%. That's all I'm trying to say. And I'm going to leave it like that. But those are the breaking news. So Atuesta, if he's able to turn his neck right and left, up and down, more than likely, he will have minutes against Charlotte. He will have minutes definitely against Miami. I can guarantee you he's probably will be back by Miami. And Nico Rodriguez, they're not going to rush him. They want to make sure that knock is fully healed and he's able to go back to, but they were really impressed on his performance against Tampa. I mean, again, Tampa wasn't really that much of a rival, to be honest with you. Not to be mean, but yeah. But those are the information I have. Let's do some comments real quick. Jeffrey O says, we have to appreciate that Orlando City isn't like Arsenal. That's right, sir. And I saw some really disturbing videos about some Arsenal fans too, which that's despicable. I'm going to add. Jeffrey O, that is a lifetime of suffering and pain. Thank you, sir. Yeah, that's soccer for you. Aranya Mom, silver lining. We haven't lost in 9 MLS games. What's our record? 4 wins, 6 draws, and 2 losses, sir. We stopped New England's 4-game winning streak. Charlotte has lost 3 straight MLS games. You're completely right. Actually, as a good segue to what I was going to say about Charlotte, I did write it here. And it says as follows. Charlotte has a 6-7-2 record. He's 6th in the Eastern Conference. Offensively, they've struggled tremendously. 6 matches without a goal, John. So 6 games with no goals. So, 6 games with no goals. And right here, it says here, based on what I wrote here, Orlando technically is in stronger form because they're going to be playing at home. We're unbeaten 7 games at home. So we're unbeaten at home, and Charlotte is still finding their offensive consistency. I think Orlando has shown in the last game that offensively they got at least a 4 out of 5 offensively, or a 3 out of 5. I don't know, but that's what's up with Charlotte. Who are your favorite Charlotte players, Paul? I mean, I'm looking at Wilfred Saha and Aggie Man.
Is Aggie Man playing like he was supposed to be playing last year? I haven't followed Charlotte this year.
He's been off and on. Like,
Okay.
I mean, he's dangerous. He's like a DK or a Laren, and just a big fast guy up front in MLS that can do damage to you.
So
Oh wow.
so I need to say who's my favorite player or the player that we need to be careful with, Luis, on the Charlotte game.
Well, look, I could tell you. I mean, just tell me which ones you feel like they're gonna have an impact against Orlando. Do you feel like they can make it cause some danger?
Aggieman for sure, because we have, this fame of bringing people back to life against us, and I believe Westwood too. Westwood was really good last season, so I think he's having it again this season. I have to check his numbers, but I remember his name loud and clear in my head, so I will be paying careful to him and to Aggieman.
I hate to be a bearer of bad news, but we're facing a team that has 3 midfielders that despise Orlando City and that are going to do anything in their power to cause for our players to become hot-headed, foul from behind, look for a set piece opportunity, and they've done it every time we face them. Bronico hates us, man, and he has no neck. Number 1. 2, Westwood, bro, I only know the West Wing, man. Be honest with you. Westwood, I don't know who Westwood is, but every time he plays with Orlando, he pulls a jersey. When you foul him, when you play physical against him, he yells like a little. And then Pep Biel came with all this flair. Oh, he comes from España, Austria, España. Bro, come on, man. I don't believe the hype. I don't know if he's improved at all, but he's also a feisty one. He likes to, step on players, without the ref looking. These are 3 people, 3 midfielders that are very, like, they've gone into Cartagena's skin, they've gone into Cesar's skin, and also I think Jansen got a yellow card for dissent in one of the Charlotte games too, just because of all their dirty tactics. So I will watch out for that, and I'm assuming in the mid it's going to be Cesar and hopefully a Tuesta, or if not Gerbet. And I don't know. Do you feel confident with Gerbet and Cesar against these 3?
I think Pep Biel, man, you got to watch out for him. I think he's having a better season than he did last year. He's really underrated, in my opinion. He's performing better than Zaha. Like, he's the one that's making this attack click in that 10 position. Like, he's like their Ojeda right now. So I think he definitely needs to be dealt with. Zaha is kind of on and off, but I mean, he's got quality. He can hurt you for sure. Abada's, speedy and dangerous.
For
sure. And they got big guys on the back line. We don't do well with that, with Reem and Malanda and the center backs. And then the other one, Kalina, man. I mean, last year, Kalina,
massive.
The reason we didn't win in 2 games was purely just because of Kalina. Like, he did it on the penalties. He is, in my opinion, one of the best keepers in this league, has been since he got here. And he's balling out again this year. So if you get past the defense, you still might not score unless you put a really good shot in, because he's probably going to save anything that's not buried right in the corner. So yeah, man, it's a tough game. Honestly, I think this is probably the most difficult game we would have had so far in the season. I think this is our maybe apart from Philly, we're on that first opening game, and we know how that went. So we really got to step up. I think if we perform defensively like we did against New England, we're gonna lose this game. I don't think they're gonna allow as many goals. They are very good defensively, as they will be under this, the management they have. So it's gonna be hard. We're gonna have to stop them and get a goal, and we can't allow it to become a goal scoring fest, because Ojeda is not going to score a hat trick every week, and right now the goals aren't coming from elsewhere in MLS. So
no, and I do want to say I can't believe they signed Marshall Ruddy, man.
Yeah, Jaquil Marshall Ruddy.
Like Marshall Ruddy was in my MLS favorite 11 that I played in my my Peruvian pod.
Yeah.
People ask me, "You're gonna who's that kid?" I say, "Bro, you don't know Marshall Ruddy, bro. Marshall Ruddy is the man,
Uh,
bro." And now
I,
he's in Charlotte, so
and we know Vargas, he's going to
yeah.
come off the bench at some point.
I know
Diani's another one. Yeah.
Williamson. He's
Tavares
definitely
as well.
he could get a
Fullback.
red card though. He could get a red card. Williamson, he's horrible.
Yeah,
Um,
they've just got. I think they're a well formed all round team. I would say they're very similar to us. If other teams preview us, they probably say similar stuff and that's how I feel about Charlotte. All year, I've been saying that they are a very good team this year, despite how I feel about them. So it's going to be a hard one.
Definitely, Orlando City comes with Martin Ojeda hot, and definitely that's a focal point when it comes to Orlando's attack. And I'm sure Charlotte knows that. Obviously, it's going to be Ashley Westwood to be that person who marks him. So just FYI, and he's very dirty. Uh, then you have Pedro Galese against Kalina. That's another matchup that's going to be fantastic to see how El Pulpo is standing against one of the best keepers in the MLS. According to Yahoo Sports, I asked who's favored to win, and this is the response that they gave me. It says Orlando City is favored to win due to their home dominance and superior attacking form currently. But Charlotte's defensive resilience could keep the game close. It says a 2-1 win for Orlando is likely, with Ojeda or Muriel scoring the decisive goal, provided they shore up their defense. This is a critical match for both teams. Playoff positioning: Orlando's 8th with 17 points. 8th to climb to the top 4, while Charlotte is 6th with 25 points, which they want to solidify their postseason spot. So this is definitely a pivotal game. Now, if Orlando is able to win 6 points out of this next 2 games, post-game analysis from all these pundits, and even our show, it's gonna probably cut down from an hour and 10 minutes to 30 to 35 or I mean, there's I mean, you beat Charlotte, you beat Inter Miami, 6 points. We're a top 3. I mean, what else can you analyze? What negativity are you gonna bring out now? What XG? What XB? What are everybody's going to say? If Orlando gets 6 points, John, what do you think?
I mean, it's going to turn some heads. I think I see it a lot when I'm talking with other, creatives around the league and people that just cover MLS and
Yeah,
no one talks about Orlando City, right? We're not
of course.
the same way that if I said to you like who's on Colorado's team, you probably couldn't name me 1 or 2 players on their team, if that, right? So we're not a huge market that everybody thinks about, but when we start to perform, then more and more people take notice. I do think we have some attention this year. I do think that some pundits are recognizing our attacking form, and obviously that we've had quite a few clean sheets, and they know, everybody's still trying to figure it out in this early stage of the season, and we could be a sleeping giant. I've heard that too, but most people just tend to ignore us, and that's fine. That's kind of how I think we like it, right? Let's be ignored up until the point at the end of the season when we sneak into the playoffs, and then everybody's like, "How did Orlando City get here again?" But this week, whenever we play, obviously Charlotte on Wednesday, but when we play Fort Lauderdale, all the press takes notice. So yeah. I'm sure whatever happens this weekend on Sunday Night Soccer, in fact, all the eyes are going to be on Miami and Orlando. So we're going to have to go through that. But as of right now, the only thing I see everyone talking about is Alex Freeman. I see constantly everybody talking about Alex Freeman.
U.S. national team.
Joe Lowry from Backside posted on X about like how is no one talking about Alex Freeman. I think he must be ironic, right? That must have been a joke because
yeah.
all I see on social media is all of these U.S. youth accounts and all these other people talking about how wonderful Alex Freeman is. So I think we're getting our pundits in certain areas. Hopefully, a lot of people are going to talk about Martin Ojeda this week, and that's going to be us getting our flowers. But we're not usually everybody's topic of conversation.
Now, Paula, if Orlando gets out of these 2 upcoming games 2 points, how do you think that conversation is gonna go?
I mean, it's gonna be different, but
3 games, 3 points.
3 games, 3 points. That's sad, but I mean, if we can get the 6 points, great. If we can get 2 points, it's not that great, but I will take it instead of 0, instead of none, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, the narrative should be 6 and not 2 or not 0, not even 0, right? But let's see.
I mean, obviously everybody said, I'm personally myself, I want to win every single game, of course, but I mean, that is not real. I mean, that is Google for Cocoa Puffs. That's like,
what?
Selling you smoke, honestly. I just will not take this.
Exactly.
Like if I don't take L's, I am content, especially because May is a terrible month for Orlando City. And so, you can call me, you're conforming, you're this and that. That's fine. I'll take it. But, as long as we don't drop any L's, I'm fine with. Obviously, against the Flamingos, we gotta destroy them. I mean, with all due respect,
4 points this week is great.
Great. 4 points is great too.
We got like 3 points would be acceptable as a bare minimum. Really, we win one of these games, I would probably take that.
What I can say, John and Luis, I don't want to jinx it, but I can take a point against Charlotte and 3 points against Miami, and I'm gonna.
I'll take that all day, bro.
We want that, yeah.
All day.
I do think that we've rotated well, and so I'm hopeful that we'll be able to play our full lineup for these 2 games.
I already called for backup, guys.
Who's your backup?
I got first the 4-star Dragon Ball.
Nice.
Right here. And I got for all the Peruvians my Ekeko. I'm about to do some voodoo. So we get at least the 6 points, guys. So
Ekeko? That's his name, Ekeko.
Yeah, Ekeko. Yeah, it's supposed to give you good luck. That's right. So I'm gonna light a little cigarette.
Him to the stadium every time or no?
No, I can't take him to the stadium. I don't think he'll go through security. No, but what I was gonna say, all jokes aside, is definitely it's gonna be tough. I'll take no L's though. I think I'll be happy if it's 4 points or even 2 points. It gets tougher and tougher, but I do feel like this is a possibility of getting 6 points. It is. We've been seeing some inconsistent strands of greatness from Orlando City, and I think if they get it together, I think it could be magical, man. It could be a magical win. Imagine winning against Charlotte and then winning against Inter. It would be phenomenal. Aranya Mom says, I meant, what's our club's unbeaten streak record? Are we close to matching the club record, or are we setting a new standard? Well,
I think last year we went on that crazy run, or was that the year before, where the second half of the season we didn't lose?
Well, I think our biggest unbeaten streak record was in the COVID era. It was in the bubble.
Oh, the MLS back.
We went MLS is back. We went to the final and then we choked. And it was.
I don't know. I think we had a longer one in that.
No, 12 wins.
I think 20. Or was that 12 wins? Okay, so maybe.
Yeah, we had 12 wins in 2020. Yeah. Now,
we haven't lost in 10 right now, so that's pretty good.
All I'm saying is, let's not be fatalists and just be like, let's be a little positive. I think we're on the right track. well, we could be like the LA Galaxy, guys. I mean, you're talking about, you know, we could be like the Galaxy. That's another story. You imagine if Orlando was like the Galaxy, man. Yeah, you see, the longest of streak, Paula says, is 12 games. Yeah, 2020. Yeah,
Yep, there you go.
Lineup and predictions. Yeah, let's do the lineup and predictions. Thank you so much for everybody that's joining live. We're about 70 people live. Thank you for your support. Let me pull that out real quick. So, I do want to say that Otero was impressive against Tampa Bay. And but obviously this, I think, if Pedro got a yellow card on one of these games, but I think definitely Pedro is going to be the one who's going to start. Okay, so we're okay with Pedro, right?
Yep.
All right, and our back four: Freeman, Schlegel, Jansen, and Brecalo.
See,
John, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
I agree. You got it.
Now for your wings, look, I like the fact that Mr. Pareja tried Ramiro in the second half on the wing. Are you ready to do that?
I am ready to do that. I just don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I think
we've
all been ready to do that.
I mean, he did it in the second half. I mean,
yeah, he did. Like Angulo.
Angulo
again. I just don't see any improvement. It's not changing. It's just the same thing again from Angulo. So, what was it? When did he come out? Let's see.
What was his turnover rate? How many passes did he lose, John?
Let me see.
This one.
Because he lost a ton. Because
ground duels, he had 6 and he only won one of them. He lost possession apparently 6 times.
There you go. So those are six
and made
turnovers.
2 fouls and had 1 tackle.
So 6 turnovers right there.
I mean, like we always said, it's the defensive stuff that he was doing, and it's not there anymore. So now he's just running around like a headless chicken. Honestly, like it's bad. Like it's not helpful. It's not helpful. It's not.
So I'm gonna go for Ramiro Enrique here, and I'm gonna go for Marco Pasalic because his left foot is his weapon. And who are gonna be your defensive mids?
Cesar and Atuesta, man.
Yeah, I think if Atuesta is ready and his neck.
I mean, he could have had like 7 massages on that thing from now and from last time he played.
Right.
So
I mean, he could have gone to massage. He could have gone to Massage Envy,
I'm sure he doesn't need to go to Massage Envy to get his neck worked on. I think we could do that in the physio room. I think he's got that covered. But yeah,
Otero, why are you rating Otero? You have Otero in your head.
I know, right?
Otero in the 10. I love it. Let's go. I also want to say, man, I feel like Dagger played so well against the Rowdies, so I feel Gervais is playing well too. So maybe one of those might get in if they feel like Atuesta's neck isn't ready, or who knows. But I'm wary. Like, you need to have one creator and one destroyer, right? You need to have one guy who's gonna break up the play and one guy who's gonna get his foot on the ball and make passes. When you put in my opinion, Dagger can do that a little bit, but not as well as Gervais is showing that he can do it. To be fair, Dagger did do it well against the Rowdies, but I still think Atuesta and Cesar are their preferred 2 whenever available.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you there. It was either going to be Araujo or Gervais, which I think Gervais, I'll be honest with you, Joran is playing tremendously.
Yeah.
He's such a great player, man. I think look, the Galaxy would love to have Gervais, man. You know what I'm saying? He would be a starter right now in any MLS team. So
I was I was watching a random Vancouver 2 game that came up on MLS Next Pro, and guess who they had in the midfield?
Who?
Giorgio Krzyzewski.
Really?
Is landed in MLS Next Pro. I think it was at Vancouver too. I just heard on the commentary, and Krzyzewski on the ball, and I was like, "Whoa, it's Giorgio."
Giorgio.
So good to know he landed on his feet.
Wow. I'm glad to hear that. Georgia, if you're watching, go to the Galaxy, man. They need players. I'm telling you, they are bad. I mean, even Kochevsky is an improvement. I'm telling you, I would hate to be in that position. Now, do we feel Muriel or Duncan Maguire? I think Muriel.
Muriel. I think Muriel.
I don't know. What do you think, John?
Muriel, yeah.
He's like neither.
I'm sad, man, because Muriel at the beginning of the season was like, yeah, he's scoring goals again, and it's dried up. Like I don't know. Like I see the work ethic, I see him putting in that effort. He's in the right positions, but like last game, man, what is he doing? Like it's just put the ball in the net. Just put the ball in the net, dude. Don't make it so complicated. I feel like he's one that always tries to do like the fancy option, and sometimes I'm just like, dude, just do the simple option. Like I think he takes too many touches, and I just want him to hit it sooner.
I agree with you, and I hated when he did on the last game. And I'll be honest with you, I did.
That was really annoying to watch.
It was annoying for him to do that stupid back heel. What was the point of that, dude? Like,
and then he looks at the other guy and goes like, "What?"
He's like, "Bro, I'm giving you a back heel pass." Like, bro,
like, he didn't read that, bro, at all. Like,
bro, if we see that in the final, like, I'll flip. Like, I'll actually flip. You just gotta keep it simple, man. Let's see some comments. F says, "Can't wait for a twista." Thank you, F. Appreciate it. Aranya Mom says, "At least we figured out how to score without a twista. Just send it to Ojeda." You're completely right, my friend. Yeah. So
we need Ojeda or Atuesta on the field for sure. But when both of them are on the field, like this lineup here, I think is probably our strongest lineup right now.
This is very strong. Yeah, this is to me. I would love to see. I like what I saw when Ramiro played the wing, and to see him a full test against a top 4 team like Charlotte. I think if he does a great job there, it will solidify him in the starting lineup, playing as a left winger against Inter Miami, and he will be definitely a threat because everybody in Argentina is going to watch this game. His parents are actually in Orlando right now, and they're traveling with him. So his parents are going to be there. His father went to the World Cup with Maradona. He's a World Cup champion. So, with the hand of God, John. So I know they're a little mad about that, but, it is. Yeah.
That was well before I was born, so I can't be upset about history.
Yeah. So, but it would be great to see Ramiro, in this Charlotte game, definitely give some competition to Ivan Angulo for sure, and I think it'll be great to see. So we have Pedro Galese as your number 1. You have Freeman, Schlegel, Jensen, and David Brecalo. We have Cesar Araujo and Eduardo Atuesta, and your mid 3 as your left winger. We have Ramiro Enrique as your number 10, Martin Ojeda as your right winger. We have Marco Pasalic, and right up top, El Toro Muriel, Luis Muriel, the Bull. Hopefully, yep. So I do want to say look, Inter has lost, and I know I'm getting too ahead, but guys, think about this. Vancouver and Minnesota have handed it to Inter Miami. We could do the same, guys. We can do the same. I'm confident. I don't know what you guys think, but yeah, I close with that.
You want to do our predictions?
For sure. You want to share that real quick?
Yeah, it's there.
There you go.
Paula, we'll let you go first because you haven't been here the last few weeks. Charlotte, what you got? We'll do the Fort Lauderdale one on Thursday when we come back.
Gotcha. I will say 2-1. Orlando City win.
I mean, that's what AI told us, so
Oh,
It's a good bet.
That's right.
It's a good bet. Luis, what you got?
I'm gonna go with a solid.
It's difficult.
Wait, 3-1 Orlando win.
Ay, Dios mío.
3-1 Orlando win.
Yeah,
I
and with
love it.
Orlando, Charlotte with 10 men.
Charlotte get a red card too. Should I put that in the notes? Charlotte red card. Oh. I don't want to predict a draw because I don't want to draw, but I do think this one will be a draw.
Okay, all right, let's do it.
I'm going to predict a draw so it doesn't happen because clearly every
right.
time I predict a win, I'm going to go 1-1. I think it's going to be
sounds good.
A 1-1. I won't be happy about it, but it's just what my gut is telling me.
Are you sure that you want to do that? Because last time that you did a 1-1, we lost. I'm just kidding.
Where? No, last time I said 1-1, it was 2-2.
The last.
And here I said 1-1 and then we lost. Yeah.
No.
To be fair, but all these other times I keep predicting wins and we draw. So, or maybe I should put the 0-0 in there just so that doesn't happen. Because last time we got you to predict that for us when you weren't here, and then it didn't happen. So I don't know. At this point, goals I'll take over no goals, even if we draw.
So if we're able to get 6 points out of this week, Nashville, bring it on. I'm telling you right now, because I mean, we whether if it's by 1 goal, even if it's a 4-3 margin or a 1-0 margin, whether we get 2 W's in this 2 games coming up, bring it on, Nashville. And I think this is a huge Orlando has a huge chance to win some silverware this year with the US Open Cup again. 2-time US Open Cup winner sounds really good. And also be nice to put next to that beautiful Pride trophy. It'd be great to have 2 US Open Cups. Why not? And an MLS Cup. Why not? Going for a double, but this is the beginning, guys. I mean, if Orlando wants to differentiate themselves from the rest of the bunch, they got to win these 2 games against these 2 teams. Definitely, Inter Miami has shown that they could be defeated by quote-unquote lesser opposition, and by being I hated what Beckham did against. You don't just respond to the crowd, in my opinion. As a why were you? I mean, number one, I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like Minnesota went all out with the pink phony club thing, but that's
I think Beckham comes from an era where clubs were like, we must be proper. Now it's like, oh, look, we're trolling each other. I'm like, this is MLS, bro. All the admins are trolling each other.
I mean,
that's how it is.
Oh, but Miami, when they win, they control everybody else. No, that's not how it is. More deal.
I love that banner at Minnesota had that was like, I can't remember exactly what it said, but yeah, shout out to all the Western teams who are making Miami look stupid. You gotta love it.
Yeah, for sure. Good. God bless. God bless Vancouver.
Minnesota.
God bless Minnesota.
They're out here doing the Lord's work, man.
That's right. F. I just got recommended this spot. Didn't know OC content existed. Well, sir, you're on the right spot. Subscribe. Drop us a like. Thank you. Welcome. This is Loud and Proud Orlando. This is John Rollins, Paola Medina, and this is Luis Carlos Pineda. Thank you. This is our socials right here. You can follow us there on X as well. And before we go, we have the Pride Pod coming up in a few minutes as well. So if you want to hear about what happened against North Carolina Courage and that beautiful Prisca goal, we'll discuss all of that in a few minutes on the Pride Pod. We are on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as LP_podcast or Loud and Proud Orlando. We're on X, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, drop us a like, and if you comment on this video, we'll respond to you on Thursday, which will have an episode previewing Inter Miami and talking about, hopefully, the win against Charlotte, John.
Yeah, every Thursday in May, we're going to be here because May
It's going to be May.
Literally, it's going to be May, and it's going to be games. We're Wednesday, Saturday every week. So
that's right.
For May, we're here double episodes for City Week every week. So
now, if you feel froggy and you want to Also, if you're from a different team, not so much Orlando City, but you're watching this, if you're a Charlotte fan, if you're just a fan of MLS in general, check out Goals TV. It's all around, you know, so many soccer podcasts. You have LA Galaxy, we have Vancouver, you name it, from any team, there's pods there. We're part of the Goals TV family as well. So this episode will be uploaded there as well. So check it out. Also, great interview by, and I think we should have him in the show. I'm gonna see if we can work some magic. Great interview by Ricardo Moreira that Photo de Football did for him.
Yeah, he did
if
with
you
ex Orlando City player.
yeah, if
Forgetting
you
his
are
name.
Uri Rosell,
Uri Russell. Yeah, thank you.
If you're interested in, obviously, know what goes behind the scenes. You know, it's not just playing FIFA, man. It's not playing FC 25. He talks a little bit about what's the decision process is when it comes to some of the players. So, you know, but anyways, it was interesting to see that. But anyways, stick around for the Pride Pod. It's coming up next. Thank you, John. Thank you, Paula. Anything else you want to say before we go?
Vamos Orlando!
Vamos Orlando!
All right, vamos Orlando. Have a good one, guys.